years of age. Waiting to see who they've sacrificed in this lineup. I would tend to think they've maybe looked at. Well, we're just trying to see. I can't see at the moment. Gallagher's there. Roman Sawyers is there. Looks as though they're going for a 5-3-1 and trying to get as many people up front. We'll tell you exactly who has been replaced. Paul will keep his eagle eye on that.
I mean, it doesn't really say at the moment, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's always difficult anyway. I know that Ahearne-Grant is at the top of the park. I think the person that's gone is Grady Diangana.
Yeah, Diangana.
Yes, Grady Diangana that has gone. Anyway, Crystal Palace in the second half attacked the goal away to my right. I'm sitting just above the gantry and I have the cameras just as they normally are. It is Krovinovic. It's on for Diangana.
Well, you can see why they're doing that. Yeah. So what they've got is proper midfielders in there. They've got Ahearne-Grant up front, but then the rest of them are midfielders. So they'll know how to defend, shuffle across. Soldiers in there. That's what they need. People who are going to work hard, put a shift in. Not saying Diangana doesn't, but he's more of an attack-minded player than one who's going to concentrate and focus on his defending.
I suppose with Matt Phillips, they do have that. You had a pretty good first half. They do have that ability. Let's just run through the sides for you. Home side first, West Bromwich Albion, navy and white striped shirts, white shorts and navy socks. Sam Johnstone in goal. Back three of Semi Ajayi, Branislav Ivanovic and Kyle Bartley. Then it is Darnell Furlong, Connor Gallagher. I've got Townsend down here. That's the other one. Connor Gallagher, Roman Sawyer, and of course the man that's just come on in the middle of the park, Filip Krovinovic. And up front they have got, I would say, Ahearne-Grant, and on the far side that's going to try and support him as much as possible is going to be Matt Phillips. For Crystal Palace in goal, Vincent Guaita. Four at the back, Van Aanholt, Cahill, Kouyate and Nathaniel Clyne is about to cross the ball into the West Bromwich Albion box, cut out by Sawyers, hooked away by Gallagher. And then they have two holding midfielders in McArthur and Milivojevic. Then it's Wilfred Zaha, Jeffrey Schlupp and Eberechi Eze in behind Christian Benteke. Palace, the story of the game, they took the lead through a Darnell Furlong own goal in the 8th minute, but that was cancelled out when a superb ball by Ajayi put in Darnell Furlong, who crossed the ball back for Gallagher to slide in from 17 yards on 30 minutes. Benteke tries to steal a march into the box, but the flag has gone up. Just went a little too early. So difficult, you've played the game, you know what it's like. You just want to win a game of football when you're out there and you're mentally up on, your adrenaline's pumping. As a manager, you've got to try and contain that. You've been a manager as well.
Yeah.
Transmitting that to the players, sometimes the excitement, the opportunity, the real chance across to your players without getting them to go gung-ho must be really hard.
Yeah. I mean, it's about them being professional and consistent in what they're doing, and about, letting the flair players show the flair and everyone else doing their jobs. I just look at Palace and I think when you get up against 10 men, move the ball quickly, make the pitch big, switch it, open, because the more you switch it, the more you open up their defence and gaps appear. But, when people take 3 and 4 touches, it allows those players, those West Brom players, to get back into good defensive positions.
Ball down the line there from Clyne, level the 18-yard box of West Bromwich Albion into the feet of Zaha, but he's caught late by Bartley and given away a free kick. Dangerous one, right on the touchline. West Bromwich Albion's keeper Sam Johnstone in goal away to my right-hand side. Bartley really did buy that. I'd like to see Eze and Zaha get a bit wider. To me, they're
coming inside far too often.
Milivojevic dinks this ball in. Cahill's the target, headed away by Bartley. Edge of the box, Eze gets it down, but it's gone away from goal. Lays it back to Patrick Van Aanholt, back to Eze. Eze now puts it up to the edge of the West Bromwich Albion box, headed away by Ajayi. Conor Gallagher gets up and wins the ball over the head of McArthur, and then gets it to Filip Krovinovic. McArthur goes back in for a challenge, and in his own time, Paul Tierney gets out a card that matches his yellow shirt and gives it to James McArthur. And again, West Bromwich Albion have got to, it's going to be a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? They're going to have to be pretty fit for this second 45, because they're going to have to get forward and they're going to have to get back, and they've got to get forward quickly, haven't they?
Yeah, they're going to have to work without a doubt. But I get a sense, even in that passage of play, Palace had a lot of possession, so they've sat right in. The problem is Ahearne-Grant is sitting in as well, so when they win it, they have no target, and that's going to be the problem. So the ball's going to keep coming back.
as it does now with Eze. Tries to slip in Benteke. He's into the box, but wide of the goal. Gets a shot across the face of goal. Could have been a cross-come shot, in fairness. I thought it was going goalwards because the goalkeeper, Sam Johnstone, threw out a right arm as though he thought it was going in. But it's gone right across the face of goal. But Benteke making a good run there. Ajayi done really well to put the young man off. And in fairness, the cross was a cross in the end when we see it from a different angle on our replay monitor.
Decent run, decent pass, but he's beaten the play, Benteke. So those in support in the box were never going to be able to get there as that ball's flashed past the post.
There we are. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at TalkSport Live, myself at Selfie86, SELFY86, and of course the Rail main man at PMorts, PMORTS. That is for the professional man alongside me that knows what everybody's thinking. Van Aanholt on the ball inside the own half, gets it to Milivojevic inside the centre circle on the Palace side, square to Clyne, short ball into the fit of McArthur, back 20 yards to Kouyate, square to the left to Cahill, and now forward down the left hand side. Van Aanholt a yard in from that left touchline as he drives towards the goal away to my right. Short give and go with Eze, back to Van Aanholt and now back to Kouyate. Kouyate square. If you missed the team news, Scott Dann isn't in the side today, so Kouyate's dropped into the middle of the park, and Benteke is in for Jordan Ayew at the top of the park today, and Wilfried Zaha returns for his 200th Palace appearance and 350th League appearance today. He's trying to turn away from Semi Ajayi, gets the ball through to Benteke, edge of the box, back to goal, out now on the far side to Zaha, who drags his foot over the ball, gets in there, deflected, cross comes in and away for a corner to Crystal Palace, the first of the second half, their third of the game, and that's what we want. I would say Townsend may be a question here, because he does like to play wider than maybe Eze.
He does, but he plays on the right, and keeps cutting in Townsend. Yeah, and that's for me, what's happening with Palace's players is, again, it's that invertedness. They keep coming in the pitch. I would say Zaha and Eze, stay wide. Yeah. Open the pitch up, stay wide, and when you get it, go and take people on and get crosses in. Eze
with the corner. Johnstone looks out of his goal, coming in from the right, goes up, misses his punch, drops down, but Ivanovic gets to the ball before Luka Milivojevic. He comes out on this near side, being trapped by Chet Kouyate, and in the end he tries to deliver the ball forward, but it's cut out by the chest of Cahill. 6 yards inside the West Brom half, down the channel it goes. James McArthur, across comes Carl Bartley, stabs the ball out of play. Palace with the throw, taken quickly by Milivojevic off his thigh and back to Kouyate. Cahill. Now it's Van Aanholt, dead centre of the half of West Brom, into the feet, back off and gets a shot in. Good save away to his left-hand side from that shot from Van Aanholt from 22 yards. He palms it away past the post as Johnstone. Another corner to Crystal Palace, but it's a wave of Eagles coming towards the Baggies.
And that's better play, much better play. Good set-up play from Benteke. Tried to pass it into the top corner of Van Aanholt. Good save from Johnstone. Better attacking.
Eze now with a corner. Johnstone looks out to his right. In it goes. Big header away by Bartley. Edge of the box, Ivanovic just puts the ball away. Onto the loose ball goes Phillips. Phillips goes a nice clean pair of heels from Milivojevic, but he's got to take on Clyne now. You've heard it first from Paul Mortimer. He's run into the man, but it's gone forward the other way now. Ahearne-Grant now with a chance to take on Van Aanholt. 4 yards out, little ball out to Gallagher. Out now on the far side to Sawyers. Sawyers down by the dead ball line. Back to Gallagher, who goes down under pressure. He should really. He's just waiting for the contact.
It's shameful. He should get booked.
Shame.
It is, because he's gone in, tried to con the ref.
He is. Eze going the other way now. Zaha, apex of the penalty area, drives into the box, fires a shot in, blocked by Semi Ajayi, crossing it this time, headed away by Bartley. Oh, it's end to end.
I was just about to say end to end stuff. If Gallagher stays on his feet, he actually keeps the ball and they get a cross in a flash. From that, I mean, you can see, look, he's moved away from the ball actually and gone to collide with, and it's just ridiculous.
I think the phrase you're looking for is made a back.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, and then it's fallen over. I think the only way you stop that is by, if I was a ref, I'd go and have a word with him. Yeah. And just tell him to cut it out.
I'd just go over and whisper in his ear, you'll have to have your leg hanging off if I give you a penalty kick from now on. Another corner to Palace. Eze with the corner, furthest corner away from us, goal away to my right hand side. Johnstone, the West Bromwich Albion keeper, looks out to his right, and inside the penalty area there is Jeffrey Schlupp and Darnell Furlong having a little come together. I think they wanted
to change shirts. I think Darnell's saying to Jeffrey, I want your shirt, and Jeffrey said, no, I want yours. And
there we are. It's like a love-in. It is. Here comes the corner, curling in. Up go the heads. McArthur gets into the back, and Cahill across the face. Should be 2-1's not. Benteke slides it in, blocked up the line again by Dann. Furlong, who's having an exceptional game. Scored the first inadvertently, made the second, and then just cleared one off the line. He is a top boy, Paul Furlong's son. Really good. 1.5 million from Pereira. Schlupp tries to put a shot in, blocked by Ivanovic. Out to McArthur. Now to Zaha inside the penalty area. Fires a shot in. 2-1. Got the ball on his left, went to his right, curled it in past Johnstone. It's 2-1. It's a superb goal from 17 yards on the angle by Wilfried Zaha, 6th of the season.
That is the Wilfried Zaha you know and love. And I'm virtually sure Slaven Bilic will have said to his side, do not let Zaha have time and space in the penalty area, because he's a great striker of the ball, and you know they've done that. He's tried it a couple of times, they've blocked it really well, but they've given him time and space, and he's smashed it in the far corner, and now the game is different.
Well, you just look as we see a replay now. The ball goes to him, and there's two stood over on the far side. Lovely pass by McArthur, and in the end it's just fizzed in. Furlong gets across there, but they were pulled out of shape there, West Bromwich Albion, and there was two waiting. And once he's inside the penalty area, he just literally runs a couple of yards forward to the player, who is Furlong, goes back to his right foot and curls it. Johnston, no chance. It's a sublime finish from a man that really can score goals. If only his histrionics would just calm down a touch.
I wish, but what he's done there is it's the speed of it all. Out your feet quick, whipped a shot in before the keeper could set, before the defence could set. And one of the things you said there was quite important. They bent West Brom out of shape because they overloaded certain areas, and that bent West Brom out of shape, and that's why Zaha had time. Like you said, there were two Palace players over there.
There was indeed. West Bromwich Albion now with 10 men have to come back. Nice feet there from Grant. He's got Krovinovic with him. Krovinovic tries to come off this touchline, but it's blocked by Kouyate. It's a throw to West Bromwich Albion, who are down to 10. 38th minute. Mateus Pereira got into he was fouled, actually, in fairness, by Van Aanholt, but as he fell to the floor, lifted his feet into the lower abdominal area of Patrick Van Aanholt, and Paul Tierney saw it as a straight red. Originally gave a yellow, looked at it, reviewed it on the monitor, turned it into a straight red. So West Brom are down to 10 and trail by 2-1 here as they look to try and get in the game. Kyle Bartley down the line now, 4 yards shy of the dead ball line. Gallagher trying to get to the dead ball line, just tried too much there. Good work by Nathaniel Clyne there just to see the ball out of play, but I think
it's a corner.
It's a corner. Was there a touch there?
Yeah, he's done really well, Gallagher. He's tried to get past Clyne. Clyne's read it well, but he's just managed to nick it off. I think it was Clyne or Kouyate, I think, yeah,
he's done really well, Gallagher. He's turned it back against Kouyate. I didn't see Clyne's there, but a corner now. West Bromwich Albion set pieces with 10 men, possibly they'll have to make the most of them. A massive Paul Furlong telling you there. Here comes the swung in underneath the crossbar. A couple of heads there, but it's headed away nicely by the Crystal Palace defence, and Ibra Eze
had to do it.
Yeah, he's a lucky man, because he could have got a yellow earlier on for diving inside the penalty box.
The thing about there, he had to do it because if Eze gets past him, they're off and running, and there's about 3 or 4 players who've made the run. So he has to. It's a taking one for the team. Had to do it.
Yeah, he's as I said though, it's taken one for the team, but what happens if he had got a yellow card for simulation earlier on?
Which he should have done, and the thing about it is, in terms of his decision making now, he's going to have to be on point, because if he makes another mistake, and he's always in and around the action.
And that was one of those moments where West Bromwich Albion had committed players forward.
And which is, it's weird to say it, but he showed a bit of maturity, read the situation well, realised I have to foul him. I cannot let him and the ball go past me.
There we are, ball is back with Cahill on the far side. Big shout in, Eyes of Gods comes in. Hello guys, enjoying your commentary so much. Listen to you guys on in Nigeria. Palace to win 3-1. Chance for ball back. Benteke's got his first goal in goodness knows how long. It's a great run by Patrick Van Aanholt. He's got down the right hand side of the West Bromwich Albion penalty area. He's gone to the dead ball line, clipped it back, and stooping to head the ball past Sam Johnston is Christian Benteke. What a moment for Palace to go to 3-1 for Eyes of the Gods.
Fantastic play down the left hand side. You heard me say, oh, what a poor pass, because I actually thought, I think it's Jeffrey Schlupp who'd played played it a little bit too fast, but too hard for Van Aanholt, but he showed pace of Usain Bolt to get there. And again, it's poor defending. If you look at Carl Bartley, where can the ball go? He's clipping it to the near post, and he's let Benteke get there first. You must be reading that. You've got to be anticipating where that ball's going, and instead of actually going to attack it, he actually hasn't done anything. He's not done anything. He's allowed Benteke the easiest of chances to put the ball in the net.
Christian Benteke, we know he can score goals. He scored it with his head, admittedly only 2.5 feet off the ground and about 3 yards out, but it doesn't matter. Crystal Palace now, one would feel, are in an unassailable position, Paul.
Well, Palace should be saying we should fill our boots now. This is a game where we should be scoring goals.
Chance now for Schlupp, 24 yards out. West Brom on the retreat. Van Aanholt into the box, buys a shot in, deflected. Johnston just takes it as it loops towards his goal, and he just pats it down before coming out. Slaven Bilic has got a worry on his hands now. What does he do? It's stick or twist time for him. Does he go chasing, getting back into the game and risk a bit of a drubbing?
I don't think they can go chasing. I think what they've got to do for just 2 or 3 minutes is sit in and clear their heads before they go again. There's still half an hour to go, but if they try and force the game now, I think Palace have just got so much pace and strength going forward that they cause problems for themselves.
Christian Benteke's first goal since he scored against Chelsea of all sides, so back in July, but it seems a while back for a centre forward. Chance now for Bartley to come forward for Phillips. Phillips now comes in off this touchline. Little step over. He's got past two, in fairness. A little bit of static defending, I would say, there by McArthur and Zaha, who allowed him to run, but the offside flag has gone up for one of the West Bromwich Albion players just on the edge of the Crystal Palace penalty area. But Roy Hodgson, are we pleased with that? And there is a change now, as in Callum Robinson is coming on for West Bromwich Albion, so looks as though Slaven's going to try and do it. He's seen enough at the top of the park from Ahearne-Grant, but it's still going to be the same system.
Yeah, he can't do it. I mean, there's not much more Carlin can do, really. And Robinson will probably find the same thing. He's probably better on the ball, probably better running with the ball and taking players on than Ahearne-Grant, but he's going to see the same thing. It's going to be a lot of work without the ball, closing areas down, and really not many, sporadic attacks, I should think.
McArthur up to the halfway line, plays it out to the left as Palace attack the goal away to my right. Benteke trying to run in behind Ajayi. Sam Johnston, though, gets on the end of that long pass and plays it out. McArthur goes back to Cahill. Cahill's ball forward from Crystal Palace centre half is wayward and out of play. West Bromwich Albion trail by 3-1. 2 goals in his second half. A superb finish from Wilfried Zaha on 58, and then just 55, I should say, and then just a minute later Benteke stooped to head the ball in after a terrific ball back from Patrick Van Aanholt, who atones for being a little bit asleep for the goal that West Bromwich Albion equalised with. Half asleep, I see.
Fast asleep, I'm saying.
There we are. A little jig down the line by Ray Lewington as Palace got their third goal. Ivanovic, crossfield passes loose, picked off by Nathaniel Clyne. Clyne, chance to run forward, flicks it with the outside of his boot. Down the right goes Wilfried Zaha, faced up by Phillips, tries to turn it in behind Phillips, but it gives it straight to him. He plays it straight out to Jeffrey Schlupp. Schlupp is on the edge of the 18. Ball breaks to Iberechi Eze. He's into the box, faced by two, steps inside one. He's coming back out of the box. He's on a mazy run. Where he'll end up, nobody knows. But Clyne passes it to Zaha. Zaha's right side of the penalty area, and he's trying to twist and turn with Sawyers and Bartley for company. And in the end, it's good work from those two. They just managed to make the ground diminish between him and the dead ball line. He takes it and play for a goal kick to West Bromwich Albion.
And you see West Brom give the ball away again because they're trying to pass it. They've not got a target up front because everyone's coming back to defend. For me, I think they have to be direct in those times. They cannot try and pass the ball out of their area because they're a player less, and they just encourage Palace on.
Isn't that going to be tough, though, Paul? Isn't that going to be tough? If you try and go direct, which I'm anticipating back to front ball, you're going from defence to your forward. One, that's got to be accurate, and two, your midfielders have then got to bust to get up alongside the man at the top of the park.
Yeah, that comes with the territory. I mean, it's very difficult work for their midfielders as it is, which is why I think that's what he brought on in Ivanovic, another midfielder, so that they can keep the ball and pass it better. But that's not been happening.
Kyle Bartley into the feet of the man that comes short, Callum Robinson, back to Bartley. Bartley out on this near side, which is a left, and Matt Phillips. Phillips back to Bartley. Bartley goes back to the halfway line where he finds Ivanovic. Pops it in forward, 10 yards into the feet of Roman Sawyers, who just gets clipped by Christian Benteke and goes down.
See, if you see there, Romain Sawyers turns, he's got 3 Palace players around him. There is no West Brom player he can pass to. He's looking, which is why he nearly gets the ball nicked off him, because he's having to go and beat players to be able to find some space or find someone, and that's not going to happen most of the time. He'll give the ball away there most of the time.
It's a free kick to West Bromwich Albion, dead centre. If you take a line from goal to goal, as Guaita looks out of his penalty area, it's about 3 yards inside from the lip of the centre circle, as West Bromwich Albion attack their favoured end here at the Hawthorns, and they need to find a way back in, and a set piece possibly is the only real chance they have. Open play could be difficult. They're 3-1 down. Short pass though from Gallagher, and it's now knocked in by Bartley. Flicks off the head, headed back across the face of goal, and in the end it's nobody gambling inside, and Guaita's made a little drop and then a little...
I don't know what he was thinking there.
He went to do a waist-high volley, as keepers do. He dropped it and then had to hit it on the half volley. Backed down a nice man as well. But it's Palace now breaking away on their left-hand side. Van Aanholt inside to Eze midway inside the West Bromwich Albion half. His ball is behind Nathaniel Clyne, who goes back 2 or 3 yards to pick it up, turns and faces, got plenty of time to play it right-hand side to Zaha and Eze exchanging a couple of passes before it goes into Luka Milivojevic square to James McArthur. He's going and looking left-hand side. It will be out to Patrick Van Aanholt, who's level with the 18-yard box of West Bromwich Albion, into feet of Benteke, who tries to play it to Eze. Eze gets it in. Benteke bludgeons his way through, but the ball is popped out from the West Bromwich Albion defence, picked up by Milivojevic. Now it's Zaha, rolls it into the feet of Milivojevic, who continues his run. His little back heel isn't good enough, and Kyle Bartley will put the ball out of play for a corner under pressure, but it seems a bit easy for Crystal Palace. They are making that man advantage count.
Of course, and they're moving it quicker. I mean, a bit too intricate at times. I'm thinking Kyle Barkley should put that in the stand for a throw-in, or knock it off Milivojevic, not just put it out for a corner. Bit of panic there, but again, they're moving the ball quickly, trying to be too intricate a little bit. Sometimes get out of your feet, put the ball in, and open West Brom's defence up.
Johnstone looks at a goal away to my right. He looks out to his left. It's Milivojevic with this corner. In it goes. Strong header away by Kyle Bartley, but straight back to Milivojevic. Lays it down to the dead ball line. Zaha, can he get a cross in? Great cross in. Again, it's Kyle Bartley that heads the ball away, only as far as Milivojevic, who clips it all the way back to the halfway line as Palace decide to set and try and stretch West Bromwich Albion. Clyne, first time ball to check Kouyate. He lifts a little ball forward and to his left to Eze. Eze infield to James McArthur. Milivojevic, dead centre of the West Bromwich Albion half, who are struggling here. West Bromwich Albion down to 10 and trailing by 3-1 in the first of 4 big games today. Give and go. Eze's into the box. Can he get the finish? Zaha's there. It is indeed a finish. It's rather easy in the end. A little bit of intricate play there by Eze and Benteke. Give and go on the edge of the box. Eze then stepped inside his man, went to shoot, but it fell nicely before he could shoot to Wilfred Zaha, who just toe poked the ball past Johnstone for 4-1. It's looking easy now for Crystal Palace.
Yes, and that was good play. All about Iberichese, wasn't it? Decent 1-2. Gets it out of his feet, plays it in, gets it back, drives in, beats Barkley. Could have done it himself, but it comes to Zaha. Still got a bit to do, because I think there's a couple of West Brom players on the line, but puts it in the net. And now, you know, Palace can go for it. This is about 5s and 6s. This could be a difficult, because there's still a long time to go, and it's up to Palace really what they do. West Brom now are going to have to sit in, and it's damage limitations for them.
It really is. That was too easy. If I could, you know, from a defensive point of view, give and goes, yes, they're tough to sometimes be able to take. It's certainly in and around the edge of your 18-yard box or in your 18-yard box, but hang on there. That was slicing. That was a hot knife through butter, really, wasn't it? That was too easy.
Yeah, it was, you know, you have to be honest, that was far too easy. And they need to just now sit in and try and defend just that little bit better.
Ivanovic getting a little bit caught out there, but they've hooked it away from their 18-yard box. Sawyers tries to play a ball forward to Robinson, but it's cut out by Clyne. Palace, as a player, when a side are on their knees, don't you?
Yeah, and you know what? Go and score. Go and make hay. Go and get on with it. You see, what you've got to do is you've got to be ruthless. You've got to go and get the 5th and the 6th and the 7th. You've got to go and do it. Got to go and do it. It sounds really cruel, but goal difference will make a difference for some. And why not? If you've got the opportunity to score some more goals, then get on with it. Go and do it.
They don't come around very often.
They don't.
Make hay while the sun shines.
Exactly. This opportunity does not come around often.
Good work there by Ayew. Gets the ball away on the far side from Ajayi. Clips a lovely ball over the top in behind Dann Furlong. This time it's James McArthur. 6 yards shy of the dead ball line. Rolls it back out. The man that comes onto it is Milivojevic. Square inside to Ayew. Ayew will go square now to Clyne. Clyne, straight ball in, looking for Christian Benteke. Just a word on Christian Benteke. He scored a goal, but combining well now with Ayew.
Yeah, he's confident. Because he's got his goal now, and like I say, the whole thing is different for him right now.
It is certainly, the confidence is flowing, and the work rate is certainly up from Crystal Palace.
They lead by 4 goals.
Yeah, I stating the obvious, I know, but all of a sudden they want to try runs in behind. This time it's Schlupp that's into the box, wide of Ivanovic, who just sees Schlupp put the ball out of play. But the old man from Chelsea there, Branislav Ivanovic, he's a lot younger than me, I have to say.
He's 36, I think.
Yeah, he is indeed.
Does a good job, but difficult one today. I'm expecting Palace to put some subs on now. Make some changes. Rest some players. See, when you get to this sort of stage in a game, it's now looking ahead to the other games. Yes. So if you can rest as many players now that the game is over, what you give those who are coming in an opportunity to score some goals, to show the manager they should be in the side. All of these things, that you can do now. So the game's over. I see no point in carrying on with these players. Give them a rest.
Yeah, you don't need a needless injury now, don't you?
Exactly.
You don't need a hamstring here. Semi Ajayi was being screamed at to go home to Sam Johnstone, but he elected to go forward, and in the end they were proved right, because he's ended up putting the ball out of play on the far side. Looks like Michy Batshuayi is about to come on for Crystal Palace. Or is that Yarrow? I think it's Yarrow.
Yes, Yarrow Readwell.
Yeah, sorry. I was confused.
Midfielder.
Yeah, an attacking midfielder as well. Scored a goal this season. Certainly will be looking for it. James McArthur, his 30-year-old legs, will go and have a little bit of a rest, get out of the rain, get yourself dry. But it's been a strange game, I suppose, really. Normally you would sort of say, well, West Bromwich Albion are down to 10 men, that's a pivotal point, but it wasn't, was it, really? Palace were a goal up. They always looked the more likely side up until that point. West Bromwich Albion had worked hard to get themselves back into the game, but since then, those goals from 2 from Zaha, 1 from Benteke, not unsurprising, and not just down to the sending off.
Well, I don't know. I think a lot of it is down to the sending off, because of the way they got back in the game at West Brom. You kind of thought, do you know what, it was a good bit of play, good finish, towels are up, but the sending off has made a difference, because Palace normally are not a great possession based side, but they've actually made it count today.
Well, I always felt that there was more threat from Crystal Palace, even though West Bromwich Albion had worked hard to get themselves back in.
I would agree with that.
And when it's come down to it, yes, Pereira's been a silly boy, got himself sent off, and West Bromwich Albion have been a man down, but some of the finishes have been exquisite from Crystal Palace, and they've worked really hard. I suppose I could concur that there is a degree that the sending off, I don't like being proved wrong. Anyway, but you're the man, you know it. Anyway, here comes Ayew going forward. What's he going to do? He's going to look for a Aanholt, who's right out by the edge of the 18-yard box, and his ball in is cut out, but Gallagher is completely flattened by Luka Milivojevic, which is just as good, because it looks as though he'd lost control of the football.
Yeah. And it's that bit there. When they win it there, it's about Milivojevic comes in and tries to win it there. That's what they've been doing all game. As soon as they lose the ball, they're snapping back to win it back.
Another change as well. It is
Schlupp, I think.
It's Jeffrey Schlupp that's going to be rested, and Jordan Ayew's coming on, so they are going 2 up top here. We saw Riedewald come on. didn't actually say. Oh, it's James McArthur that went off.
Yeah. So don't need a holding mid. They don't really need 2 holding midfielders in there. They really don't. They can play with Milivojevic, and then the rest can be sort of attack based.
And it is attack base if you look at it now. Jordan Ayew, Christian Benteke, Wilfried Zaha, Ibarrechi, and Yarrow Riedewald, as we know, can score goals as well. That's a pretty potent. That sends out a message to Slaven Bilic saying, if
they've gone to a 4-3-3, I think.
Yeah. Ivanovic steps away from Kouyate quite nicely, but can't quite keep the ball under control. Gets the ball into the box, but is behind Callum Robinson. Van Aanholt's there to tidy up. He's gone for a heavy touch. He's managed to keep it in play. Finds Jordan Ayew midway inside his own half. Infield now to Milivojevic. Out on the far side to Yarrow Riedewald, who just gallops there. A little short pass forward and a give and go with Eze. Still exchanging passes, and in the end they've got a little bit too lax, and they've allowed West Bromwich Albion to shut them down. But Ibarrechi Eze twisting and turning really well. He's done exceptionally well.
Love the way he moves with the ball.
Yeah, he's done really well. Glides across the turf and
you
goes
know what?
forward.
He's quicker than you think. His stride length is very good, and he's quicker than you think. He's very deceptive. He looks like he's floating, but he doesn't look like he's really moving at pace, but he drifts away from players effortlessly.
He's got a good stature to him as well, hasn't he? You know, he's got to be 6'2", and he can use all that stature as well. He just plays the ball to Clyne, back to Eze, and he's somebody that loves, dare I say it, as most people do, when he gets a bit of space, he loves it. He can make his choices as whether to go and attack the man, which he can do really well, or whether he can just pick a pass.
Yeah.
He's got it in his locker. Little lofted ball up this time. It's headed away by Ivanovic. Roman Sawyers can't get it under control, and it is Milivojevic that sends it all the way back. 76 on the clock. West Bromwich Albion 1. They're down to 10 men. Matheus Pereira off on 38. Crystal Palace 4, but that doesn't really mean that it was all down to the sending off, although it was only 1 apiece at that point. Crystal Palace have always looked attacking and more threatening, and they looked as though they had more armoury on the field of play even when the sides were level, but they've made it pay since they've gone down to 10 men. West Bromwich Albion under Slaven Bilic will be looking at this, and they'll want a little bit of damage limitation, and they'll also want to look with those games coming up with the likes of Liverpool looming as well, to try and get themselves more resolute. Jordan Ayew trying to take on Gallagher into the feet of Benteke. Little give back to Benteke. Benteke now to Van Aanholt. Benteke going down the left like a left winger, clipped in towards the West Bromwich Albion penalty area, and indeed into the box, but Ayew can't get there, and Ajayi puts it away. It is a tough one, because if the Baggies fans were in today, and they're not, because this is in the third tier, so there's no fans in at all, they would be... This will have quite a mental imprint on their season for them. This is a side in and around them in the league, and to lose 4-1 at home, you can't put it all at the feet, because, as I said from the start of this game, I've always felt that Palace looked the more...
Do you know what? You're right. Palace did look the more likely, but, you know, when a team lose a man, that makes it even harder for them, and slightly easier if Palace get it right for Palace. And that's basically what's happened. I mean, if you look at the goals that have been let in, I mean, you know, Zaha's won, 2 Palace players were spare. Yeah. You know, and at the time where, you know, come to the 4th goal, and defensively they were all over the place, West Brom. And that is a consequence of having to work harder because you're down to 10 players. So I would say that the sending off has made a huge difference, because, no disrespect, Andrew, it was 1-1 when he got sent off. Yeah, 4-1 now.
All right, okay. Paul Morse.
I'm just putting the point.
You're not. You're slapping me down.
I'm
which
just
is fine.
saying. That, listen. You asked me for my opinion. That's all I'm doing. I'm giving you my opinion. Yours is wrong, but I'm giving. Right, that's you off the Christmas card list. Okay. No, you are quite right. I was just trying to wriggle out of a deep hole that I dug with that digging machine that I've got there. But it is certainly a point here that when the sides started playing, it was 1 apiece. Pereira goes off, and that has changed the game. Do you know the disappointing thing for me with West Brom is that 1-1 you've got something to hold on to, and I just think the ease at which they've given that up is what gets me. I mean, you have to change the way you're playing, and they haven't changed. They're still playing like they've got 11 men, and that's the bit I don't quite understand. You have to change. You have to become far more defensive, but they're still open. The pitch is far too open. there's far, you know, when you've got a man less, you cannot be as open as West Brom are.
Yeah, I concur with that as Sawyers takes it towards the Crystal Palace penalty area. I'm going to come back with something in just a moment. Gallagher out on the far side finds Darnell Furlong, who clips the ball into the Palace box over the head of Ivanovic. Clyne's loose touch almost allows Matty Phillips to get in, but Clyne comes away with the football. Zaha now, lovely bit of skill there to get away from Carl Bartley, but in the end it breaks to Phillips. Phillips now trying to drive towards the dead ball line. He's got Zaha on the floor, and he goes back to Ivanovic, who tries to curl it from the corner of the penalty area, but it's high and over the top of Vincent Guaita's crossbar. Yeah, agreed, absolutely agreed, going back to your point there that there is another couple of changes to come, and this time going on is Roman Sawyers is coming off, and Darragh O'Shea, the young Irishman, is coming on for West Bromwich Albion, and it looks as though there could be another change for Crystal Palace in just a moment. But going back to your point, that I saw West Bromwich Albion at Manchester United a couple of weeks ago, and I thought how unlucky they were to come away with nothing. I thought they had a little bit more fire, but when you saw their lineup today, and you looked at the top of the park, and you looked at their goal scoring records, you just I always felt that Palace possibly, if they got it right, had too much on the field of play.
Without a doubt. I mean, you could see Palace had far more pace and strength and threat going forward. But, you know, West Brom are decent on the ball. And Palace, you know, for all that threat going forward, are very much hit and miss at times.
Yeah, agreed. I concur with you 100% there. The ball is back on. Michy Batshuayi is on for Wilfred Zaha. He's been denied the chance for match ball by his 73-year-old manager Roy Hodgson. And in fact, when he walked off, looked a little bit perplexed as to why he was being removed. But he hasn't played a lot of football recently, so I expect it's save your legs.
He's been ill. So no, he's, you know, as far as I'm concerned, have to save him from himself. He's had COVID, hasn't he? So he's been ill for a while. So he's saving from himself.
Loose ball there. Chance for West Brom to break forward. Gallagher, though, is thwarted by Kouyate on the D of his own penalty area there. Kouyate then sees the ball go out to Van Aanholt. Out now to Iberechi Eze, who's going to take on Darnell Furlong. Darnell Furlong still watching, but has to track the run of Van Aanholt. And now it's Ivanovic and Eze that are locking horns just outside the penalty area of West Bromwich Albion. Goes back some 10 yards to Milivojevic, back to Czech Kouyate inside the centre circle on the West Bromwich Albion side. Then it's Clyne to Jordan Ayew. Ayew goes infield, and then on the overlap it's Clyne. Clyne into the feet of Batshuayi. Benteke back to goal, spins, turns, 5-1. 17 yards, and Christian Benteke with 2 goals in a game. And he done really well there, let it run across his body, had his back to goal, 17 yards out, came in from his left, he span onto his right foot and fired it low past Sam Johnstone for 5-1. It's dispirited West Bromwich Albion, it's a buoyant Crystal Palace.
Yeah, it's far too easy. I mean, you know, Benteke's got a player behind him, a defender there, who should block that shot. And it's Ajayi. It's far too easy. No one's close enough. The midfield aren't there either. You know, you'd think they'd lost 2 men. It's just too easy. I mean, he miscontrols that, to be truthfully honest, Benteke, which should give a defender the chance to get back and block it, but it doesn't happen. And, you know, their heads are down, without a doubt, but you've got to be saying, damage limitations, we don't concede any more goals, but, you know, the scoring probably isn't even finished yet.
Possibly not, but I'm going to say something to you now. I'm going to ask you a question.
No.
Dennis Bergkamp. Was that miscontrol all those years ago, or was that just sublime at Newcastle?
Dennis Bergkamp?
Yeah.
Who's done that before?
Well, I'm
lost for words. Dennis Bergkamp was a technician. There was a clinical aspect to his touch and his control, you know, and for you to even go there, I'm not even going to answer it. I'm not going to.
Miscontrol it was. Anyway, chance on. He was a great footballer, master technician, great musician.
Don't backtrack now.
That was miscontrol. Miscontrol. Ivanovic going forward now towards the Crystal Palace penalty area. He puts it high into the stand behind Guaita's goal. It was miscontrol. No 2 ways about it.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, listen. As far as I'm concerned, I've seen Dennis Bergkamp drop so much skill. I'd question that. I'm from the Dennis Bergkamp school. I'd question that.
Listen, I go back to the World Cup. Dennis Bergkamp, he should have been sent off before he scored a goal against Argentina in one of those games as well. You know, and I also seen him take. He had a little streak in him as well.
Are you going to say, well, Maradona should have been sent off before the hand of God? Are you going to say that too? Are you going back that far?
I go back so far that it should never be a goal when we scored against West Germany in the '66 Cup final. Let's have a quick word here. I've got Edem on there. Too bad and unfortunate for West Brom and the red card. Palace need to respond. A response for their recent poor form against small opponents. Your commentary, on the other hand, is joyful to listen to. Listening live from La Paz in Ghana. Nice to have you along. Fellow Ghanaian Jordan Ayew on the field now. Can he get himself a goal in what is turning into be a Crystal Palace rout? Ayew back to Clyne inside the West Bromwich Albion penalty half, I should say. Played forward to Batshuayi. His first touch allows Bartley to take it off, and Bartley, true West Bromwich Albion captain style, bundles his way forward, and a little triangle for West Bromwich Albion with Gallagher and Callum Robinson is ended by a superb challenge from Jordan Ayew on the halfway line. Plays it to Milivojevic to Eze back to Milivojevic, now to Jordan Ayew. We're into the 86th minute. It is West Bromwich Albion 1, Crystal Palace 5 here. First of 4 games this afternoon, and there's some big ones coming up, but will they match this 6-goal feast here? Driving forward again is Eze on the edge of the box. He just seems to effortlessly
he just glides past people like they're not there. It's a wonderful thing to watch.
It is indeed, and those players that do that, you often wonder why people can't stop them, but it's difficult.
Yeah, exactly right.
You know, back in the day when people just used to swivel the hips and drift away from things, you'd be sat at home thinking, why didn't they just get a good old-fashioned tackle?
Yeah,
you can't read it.
You can't, because you can't get near him.
No.
And that's what he does. He's very, very good, very good.
I've heard a lot about your hips when you were a flying winger. But that was
I wish they worked that way now, I'll tell you that much.
They'll be okay once they've been replaced.
Exactly right.
Going forward, West Bromwich Albion now have the ball. Seems Christmas has come early for Christian Benteke. Can't remember the last time he scored. It was July. That's from Twiggy. So nice to have you along as well. Don't forget 4 big games coming up. The next game's an absolute corker as well, in fairness. We've got the Crookmeister, Alex Crook and Dean Hammond, about to describe us winless Sheffield United. And I know Chris Wilder well. He will be seething. He'll want that win on there against Brendan Rodgers' inconsistent Foxes.
Yeah, they're weird. Yeah, they're weird, Leicester, aren't they? I mean, they could go and beat Sheffield United 4-0 or get beat. It's just they're so inconsistent and up and down at the moment.
And he's got a good squad there, Brendan Rodgers, as well. It shouldn't really be that inconsistent. And then after that, you've got the North London bragging rights coming on for you. That should be an absolute corker this afternoon, but we know how that one's going to go because we have been told by at P. Morts that Tottenham are the better side. So any Arsenal fans out there,
that means Arsenal are going to win, by the way.
The old double bluff. And of course the final game is champions Liverpool against Wolves. Tom Rennie and David Connolly, whilst Tim Long and Kevin Watson take you through the Tottenham Arsenal clash this afternoon. We're not finished here. 3 minutes plus time to be added on here at the Hawthorns, but I can quite safely say one of the only things I'm going to get right today, that Palace will win this match because they're 5-1 up. Deny me that.
You could be right. Yeah, I mean I can believe that. Possibly ish.
Anything can happen.
Well, you know, football's a funny old game, as someone far more clever than me said many years ago.
And what a goal scorer that man was as well.
No doubt.
I watched the documentary of him. I've watched it a couple of times now.
He'd have been a superstar now, by the way.
Oh, just unbelievable. There we go. Jimmy Greaves, the great James Greaves. What a player. Right from day one. Just had that ability, and you can't. Once you're born with that, you're born with it. Oh, loose challenge by Luka Milivojevic there as Matty Phillips tries to get on the ball inside the centre circle. Milivojevic gets himself a yellow card, and I
thought he'd been booked earlier, but he hadn't. He committed a poor tackle earlier, but he hadn't been booked earlier. I thought he had done. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
That's not far off of.
I wonder if VAR are going to have a look at that. That's a ridiculous tackle. It's nowhere near the ball. Absolutely nowhere near the ball.
That's a little bit of I told you I'd get you back. You know, that's quite late there. Phillips tries to slip the ball in behind Van Aanholt, who cuts it out. He was looking for the run of Darnell Furlong, who I thought has had a good game, and Phillips for West Bromwich Albion, but the rest of the side have been let down somewhat by the little Brazilian, who went off on 38. But Palace have made hay while the sun has shone here. Benteke and Batshuayi trying to exchange passes, but the little give and go lacked a little bit of pace and allowed West Bromwich Albion to drive forward. And the man that's going forward is Captain Fantastic for West Bromwich Albion. Carl Bartley finds himself in midfield. He's just about everywhere, but that's not going to help his defensive partners, is it?
Because I'd rather him be defensively and in the defensive area, to be truthful. I mean, I look at it and yes, you're down a player, but at this level you shouldn't be shipping 5 goals. I really don't think you should be. I think you should be sitting in, you should be making yourself difficult to beat. But at no point have they done that. They've tried to play and go head to head with toe to toe with Palace, trying to play open and expansive football.
The second goal though was the one, because needless to say, they are hanging their hat on something. They've got something to hang on to. They're down to 10, but the ease of which Zaha was given a space to double up on the back,
just too easy.
And then after that it's just been a case of well, we don't really know what to do. We can't get into this game, we can't get back into this game, we don't seem to have the firepower or the control of the football, and from there on in it has just been a processional march to the final whistle,
and their heads have dropped. I mean, again, as I said to you at half time, the first goal was going to be huge. The first goal in the second half was going to be huge. If it went to Palace, but if West Brom could have made them really work for it and frustrated them, maybe it would have been slightly different. But once they scored that early, and the ease at which they scored, you know, the possession turned up and it was all over very, very quickly.
We've got 3 additional minutes to be played. We are into the first of those 3 additional played at the end of the game. Paul Tierney will be looking. Crystal Palace will be hoping they can maybe just eke another goal-scoring chance out and take it. West Brom will be hoping for the final whistle to disappear down the tunnel, take what's going to be coming their way, and expect an apology from Mateus Pereira, the man that was sent off when the score was 1 apiece. But 2 goals from Benteke, 2 from Zaha in the second half has made it a nice polished performance for Crystal Palace. Breaking into the Palace box though, shot right across the face of goal from square. The best shot that's saved by what was he doing? Van Aanholt almost passed it into his own net. He got back, he had all the time in the world, but Guaita was there with a strong right foot. Ibarrechi Eze has glided past Semi Ajayi on the far side, but run into Kravinovic on the other way. But that ball in across the face of goal from Callum Robinson almost caused consternation for Van Aanholt.
Well, I'm looking at Callum Robinson and I'm thinking, you kind of, this is about match intelligence. You kind of know that you're up there by yourself. So I can't work out why you're putting the ball across the box. There's going to be no one in there. There's going to be no one in there.
Absolutely. Anyway, the ball is with Kravinovic. And then it goes further out. Robertson out. Cross comes in from Furlong. Oh, that's uncomfortable, defended by Kouyate, because he's managed to slide goalwards and get it off his inner thigh across and wide of Guaita's post. It's a corner to West Bromwich Albion late here in time added on.
And it's good play from West Brom, actually. In, set back, gone wide. Good first time crossing. But yet again, because a lot of their players want the ball to feet, none make runs. So there's no one in the box.
There we go. Corner coming in. Guaita, goal wide to my left, looks out to his left-hand side. And the corner comes in. It's dinked high by Matty Phillips, and winning it actually was Carl Bartley, but he's headed it on the way down, and therefore it's gone up and over the crossbar with no real threat to Vincent Guaita. You know, quickly summing up things for Slaven Bilic, what happens next? What does this say to him? What does he learn about his squad?
Well, he learns that when they go a man down, they struggle to play and defend and learn. They've got a lot of work to do. There's a naivety about the way they play. You go down to 10 players, the first thing you do is make yourself difficult to beat. Simple as that. That's the first thing you do. 2 banks of 4 in front of the goalkeeper, 1 up front, make yourselves difficult to beat. But they just haven't done that. They've played open and they've played like they're a team on top. And you know, Palace just waited, won the ball, and went off and scored goals. And it's just been far too easy this second half.
And for Roy Hodgson, he'll come away with 5 goals in his back pocket. You know, as the ball goes forward with Kravinovic, but I think this is Palace maybe just allowing the football to be knocked around. They know we're into time added on. At the end of time added on, ball into the box, headed away by Cahill. For Roy Hodgson, it's a case of, well, job done. we've done it well. There's a chance of 6 points against the side around us in the table.
Simply put, done what they needed to do, then now they get out of Dodge with 3 points and 5 goals.